The worn leather wallet lay alone on the rain-soaked sidewalk while people rushed past without noticing it, but one exhausted single father stopped in his tracks even though his own pockets were nearly empty. Inside that wallet was enough cash to erase months of unpaid bills, buy groceries for his little daughter, and finally give them both a chance to breathe again. Hunger whispered one choice, but his heart chose another. He never imagined that returning one stranger's lost wallet would lead to an invitation to a dinner that would completely change the course of his life forever. If you believe that kindness always finds its way back, even when life feels unfair, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who still believes in good people, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Soul Tales for more emotional stories that remind us hope is never truly lost. Daniel had been raising his 7-year-old daughter Lily alone ever since his wife passed away after a long illness. Every sunrise meant another battle against bills, rent, and uncertainty. He worked long hours doing construction jobs whenever contractors needed extra hands, but the work was never guaranteed. Some weeks he earned enough to keep food on the table, while other weeks he had to pretend he wasn't hungry so Lily could eat a little more. No matter how difficult life became, he never allowed bitterness to enter his heart. He wanted Lily to grow up believing that character mattered more than wealth, and that honesty was something no amount of money could replace. That rainy evening, after finishing another exhausting shift, Daniel walked through the city with aching legs and an empty stomach. His old shoes were soaked, and his clothes carried the dust of another hard day. As he crossed a quiet street, something caught his eye near the curb. A dark leather wallet rested beside a puddle. Curious, he picked it up carefully and opened it just enough to search for identification. His heart immediately began racing. Inside were several thick stacks of cash, multiple bank cards, and an identification card belonging to an elderly businessman named Robert Harrison. Daniel froze. The money inside that wallet represented everything he desperately needed. It could pay overdue rent, replace Lily's worn-out school shoes, and finally allow them to sleep without worrying about tomorrow. For a brief moment, the temptation was painfully real. But then he remembered the promise he had once made to his late wife, that no matter how difficult life became, they would always raise Lily with honesty. Closing the wallet gently, Daniel searched for another way. The address printed on Robert's identification was across town. It was already late, buses had nearly stopped running, and Daniel could barely afford transportation, but he refused to leave the wallet at a police station where it might take days to reach its owner. After nearly an hour of walking through cold rain, he finally reached an elegant neighborhood unlike anything Lily had ever seen. Large homes stood behind beautiful gates, each surrounded by gardens glowing beneath warm lights. Daniel rang the bell with nervous hands. Moments later, an elderly man opened the door. His face carried deep worry that instantly transformed into complete disbelief when he noticed the familiar wallet resting in Daniel's hands. Relief flooded the man's eyes before gratitude slowly replaced every trace of fear. Robert had spent the entire evening desperately searching for the wallet because it contained not only money but also important documents connected to his late wife's charitable foundation. Losing it would have created problems far beyond financial loss. Robert thanked Daniel repeatedly and insisted on rewarding him with a large amount of cash. Daniel politely refused. He explained that returning something which wasn't his should never require payment. Robert stood silently for several moments, almost unable to understand how someone with worn clothes and obvious financial struggles could walk away from such an opportunity without asking for anything in return. Before Daniel left, Robert made one unexpected request. He invited Daniel and Lily to join him for dinner the following evening. Daniel hesitated. He wasn't comfortable accepting invitations from strangers, especially wealthy ones, but Robert's sincerity was impossible to ignore. After thinking about Lily, who hadn't enjoyed a proper evening outside their small apartment in years, Daniel finally accepted. The next evening, Lily wore her cleanest dress while Daniel ironed his only button-up shirt. Although both felt nervous, they arrived exactly on time. Robert welcomed them warmly, making them feel less like guests and more like family. During dinner, Robert watched quietly as Daniel encouraged Lily to finish eating before serving himself. Every small gesture reflected a father who placed his daughter above everything else. As the evening continued, Robert shared a heartbreaking truth. Years earlier, he and his wife had dreamed of helping struggling families through scholarships, food programs, and housing support. After her passing, he continued the foundation alone, but recently he had begun losing faith in people after experiencing dishonesty from employees and business partners. When Daniel returned the wallet without accepting money, Robert felt something he had not experienced in years: hope. Instead of offering charity, Robert offered something far more meaningful. He explained that his foundation needed someone trustworthy to oversee its daily community projects, someone who understood hardship instead of simply reading about it in reports. He believed Daniel's honesty, compassion, and determination were qualities that couldn't be taught in any university or purchased with any amount of money. Daniel was speechless. For years he had prayed not for riches but for a stable opportunity that would allow him to care for Lily with dignity. That single invitation to dinner had become the answer he never expected. Within weeks, Daniel began managing community outreach programs, helping struggling parents, delivering food to families in need, and ensuring donations reached the people who truly needed them. His own difficult experiences allowed him to understand every family he met because he had once stood exactly where they were. Life slowly transformed. Lily smiled more often, their apartment filled with laughter instead of worry, and Daniel finally slept peacefully knowing tomorrow no longer depended on finding temporary work. Yet the greatest reward wasn't financial security. It was discovering that one honest decision had created opportunities to change countless other lives. Every family he helped reminded him of the rainy night when he chose integrity over desperation. If this story has touched your heart or reminded you that even the smallest act of kindness can create life-changing miracles, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Soul Tales so more people can discover stories that inspire compassion and second chances. Before this story ends, please leave a comment and tell us, what would you have done if you had found that wallet while struggling to feed your own family? Daniel never became rich overnight, and life never became perfect, but he gained something even more valuable than money. He earned trust, purpose, and a future built on honesty. Sometimes the greatest miracles don't begin with extraordinary talent or unbelievable luck. Sometimes they begin with one simple decision to do the right thing when no one is watching. The kindness we give to strangers often travels farther than we could ever imagine, returning in ways that change not only our own lives but the lives of everyone around us. And perhaps that is life's greatest reminder, that integrity is never truly lost, because goodness always finds its way home.